Hello everybody, my name is Josiah.
And I'm Jonathan.
And this is Gaming Corner.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Gaming Corner. We haven't done an episode of this in a while, mainly because me and Jonathan don't really get to see each other much, so we just decided to throw all that out the window and just, record an episode over, Zoom? Are we doing this on Zoom?
Yep.
Okay, yep. I just hope that the time limit doesn't go. So, yeah.
Yeah, that would be convenient.
We have a lot of different stuff to talk about, from new game releases to the Mario movie, and our thoughts on the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom stuff, to interviews with a lot of video game modders and hackers. This is going to be a long episode. Yeah, hopefully. It might be. So, strap in. We're going to be here a while. I'm Josiah.
And I'm Jonathan.
And this is Gaming Corner. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about in gaming news and gaming releases. First of all, we have Minecraft Legends coming out this month, along with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, and Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. These are some of the biggest games, especially for older series like Advanced Wars. That was a game series that everybody wanted, to be rebooted, and I think they messed with the name in Reboot Camp. I think that's funny. And then Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. That's a big collection of all these Mega Man games on the Game Boy Advance. We can see a bunch of cool things. It's just like Mega Man, but better. It's I've heard that it's probably the best version of Mega Man, but yeah. Actually, I have my friend gave me Mega Man 3 on the NES in exchange for a copy of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which I think I gave. When he came over, I think either A, he forgot to take it, so now I have a copy of Smash Bros. Brawl and Mega Man 3. So yeah, I'll give that to him as soon as I can. But either way, I know Jonathan is really excited for I know Jonathan's really excited for Minecraft Legends, because that was a game that No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Are you kidding? For Minecraft Legends. I'm not really.
Why aren't you excited? You looked so excited when we saw it announced in the Minecraft Live 2022 event.
Interesting. I don't know.
You were going insane, this is the coolest thing ever! Now that we're done with this, we're going to talk about the Mario movie. We don't know too much about it because we're only 2 days at the time of this recording. 2 more days.
Wow.
First of all, let's talk about our thoughts on the Mario movie and what we've seen so far. I mean, I've seen a lot of all these scenes. I've been looking very closely at all these scenes, especially all the references that they have to all these past. My chair. All the references
that would not have been good.
These past Mario games. I actually have Mario 64 actually running on my TV right there, but that's besides the point. But yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff happening in the Mario movie. So first of all, let's take a look at our thoughts on what we've seen so far. So Jonathan, if you'd like to go first, I want to follow.
I really liked the Mario Kart introduction, the Mario Kart stuff. I just thought that was a really cool idea. Mario Kart is a big part of Mario, but it doesn't have a lot of lore to it. So adding it into the movie would be, I just thought was really cool.
Yeah.
That's probably it though. I didn't really investigate the trailers or anything. I just kind of watched them. I probably missed one anyway.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say I watched almost every single millisecond of every single one of those trailers, and I'm just looking for so many things to be excited about in this new film. I'm excited for everything that we're gonna see in this.
Totally.
Mario Kart integration. At first, I was kind of like skeptical about how they and why they would even incorporate Mario Kart into that. But seeing from this final trailer how Mario is like flying like upside down and falls out of a cart and like throws the Koopa shells at the Koopa shells in the cars.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't see the final trailer?
I did see the final trailer. I just don't.
But yeah, so I'm really excited for all this, and I think from what we've seen the cast do incredible stuff. So of course, Chris Pratt is Mario, Charlie Day is Luigi, Jack Black is Bowser, Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach, Keegan-Michael Key is Toad, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. Yeah, the cast is just crazy. I never thought in a million years that Chris Pratt would play Mario. I don't think anybody else thought in a million years that Mario would be played by Chris Pratt.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty cool, and I think we're all gonna enjoy it as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
I think this movie's gonna.
I might not enjoy it like maximum level, but it will be good.
I'm probably gonna love it. I'm, at least from what I've seen so far. I don't want to set my expectation too high, but from what we've actually seen, it's really cool. Now we're gonna talk about The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This is a game that I've been for not as much as Jonathan, but I know Jonathan has been really excited for it.
Yes, like max level. Like you can't be more excited than me.
I mean, I can believe it, but I believe it. So, first of all, let's talk about the game and the pros and cons with it. Zelda creator Eiji Aonuma created Zelda, of course. I said that twice. And he released a gameplay video of him playing, of course, Tears of the Kingdom. So it talks about a lot of cool stuff in it, from fusing and boats and wheels.
Like abilities.
Not really the greatest for me.
Dude. Okay. I give up. I don't really care. But hey, it was good. In my opinion.
Okay.
Personally, I like the different perspective that we'll be able to take Hyrule with, because before, we had to use our feet. We had to walk around, we had to do all this stuff. A theory that I found, I think it was Zeltic, he said it. Basically the cars, the battery pack inside of it could be something that you're carrying around that would not be possible to walk around on foot. Like, literally the cars might be literally necessary for the story. It'll make exploring the areas that we've already explored in Hyrule before 10 times cooler, as well as the fact that there's new stuff everywhere. Like, there's pieces of rock, there's like no shrines anymore, something else in different places. So, I don't know. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice that the map looked different? It was cut into different sections, like completely different.
The thing is,
signifies different provinces.
The thing is, especially for $70, just being an expansion upon the actual game, just adding the sky and a little bit of underground, it's basically doing what Mario is, just 30 years too late.
Okay.
You see,
I guess
I
can see where you're coming from.
Mario already had the overworld. He had the underground in... Let me get it. Hang on. That's enough.
A game.
He already had the overworld and the underground world in Mario 1. And also had the sky in Mario 1. I'm just waiting to see,
Actually, technically Zelda already had the sky before. It just wasn't in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, did you play Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah,
I don't know.
I'm just saying Mario did it 30 years earlier.
He didn't have a paraglider. He couldn't like skydive through the clouds. Like
no.
Also, did you see how it was? Did you see how when Link was skydiving, there was zero loading? It was seamless. So cool.
Because that's how the game did it. Because, well, first of all, the game, even though it's running on the exact same engine, it's still, of course, adding on to what it is. and improving the engine just a little bit more.
True.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this game is going to do, but for $70,
It's
that's
totally
a bit
100%
much, if I
worth
just
it.
say.
Okay.
It's kind of
We're different. We're different types of gamers. Okay.
Now, I'm more of
Different
of course, a Mario gamer. Of course, I have a bunch of Mario games, and like one Zelda thing, and that's my Zelda Game & Watch, which is still my prized Zelda possession. It's $631 right now, in case you're wondering. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
I was
that's
not.
literally
Okay.
my only Zelda thing. I want to get Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Ocarina of Time eventually, especially Link Past. But besides the point, that's besides the point. Anyways, this game is probably the most anticipated game of 2023. But in my eyes, it's not going to be incredible. Sure, it's going to be a great game, but it's not going to be the #1 game of all time. There are a lot of other games.
Dude,
I
never said it was gonna be the #1 game of all time.
Oh no, I know.
I think it'll be a really good game.
I'd probably say the second, right next to Mario Galaxy 2.
Okay. Would you say it's gonna be better than Breath of the Wild?
Adding on to Breath of the Wild, yes, probably.
Okay. Well, that's actually a lot to say.
Depending on if it does add on to it correctly, and if it doesn't mess up what made Breath of the Wild so good, why people actually like Breath of the Wild. If it adds on to that and makes it even better, then yes, I could see this being one of, if not the best Zelda game of all time. But I'm just praying that they don't mess it up. That's my biggest.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yep. Totally. That's understandable.
Yeah, so, are there any other things that we got to talk about? Tears of the Kingdom?
Unless you want to spoil everything for the viewers who haven't seen the trailer, and also want to stay spoiler-free.
Fusing! Please, let's talk about fusing for a second. Fusing is probably one of the weirdest things in Zelda that I never thought that I would actually see in it. Of course, you have the, using the eye for the first time of, when you, shoot a
eyeball?
bird, you can shoot a bird, and, it leaves, an eyeball. It's weird. And then you can put that onto an arrow, and it will home on to the character, or into the bird. I think that's just a cheap excuse on getting less, intermediate players to cheat.
Actually, okay. So it's not cheating. The Keys eyeball was a big part of Breath of the Wild. There really wasn't much use to it. The Keys is a bat. But it really was only a monster part that could be transformed into elixirs. If you haven't played Breath of the Wild and gotten to the point where you can cook stuff with monster parts and stuff, that doesn't really make sense. But basically, you take something that can't be eaten and you mix it with a monster part, which also can't be eaten, and you get an elixir with a certain effect. And Keys eyeballs only did that. But I think adding them as a homing arrow was actually a really cool idea. Maybe it'll have some lore implications. I mean, maybe it has to do with what's on.
Yeah. I mean, no one could really say, but the marks on Link's side, you really talked about that a lot. I wanna hear what you said again, because I have no idea. I don't remember what you said at all.
I don't even remember what I said. The marks were his actual arm.
No, the marks on his body. The tattoo.
Zonai tattoos? Zonai tattoos?
Yeah, what are those?
The Zonai tribe. Do you remember there's an outfit in Breath of the Wild called the Barbarian armor, which has tattoos with it and increases its attack. I don't really think that's what this would do, but it probably has some connection to the Zonai being the Barbarian tribe from who knows how long ago. They don't really know anything about it, other than the fact that there's a ton of ruins there. But I don't know. We'll see.
It might just be for cosmetics, but if it's not, which I'm hoping it isn't, it'll actually
it might have to do with lore. It might have to it might be kind of like a callback to not like another game callback, kind of like a callback to the other trailers. He was fighting Ganondorf, and he got his The Master Sword was like covered in malice. He was bruised and hurt. It was crazy. There's a callback to that. Like a scar.
Okay, so we've talked about that. Now it's time for the cream of the crop. The biggest thing of the episode, our first interviews. So this is all about modifications to games and hacks. So we've interviewed, let's see how many people.
You
1,
did.
2, 3,
You
4.
interviewed me.
I think I did like 4 or 5. So, first of all, I interviewed Scowo, is that the name? I think that's the name, Scowo. Who is the, I guess, founder / creator of newer Super Mario Brothers Wii. So I asked them some main questions. I asked this guy 4 questions. And yeah, so the first question was, where did you get the idea for this? And he said, Newer was always a community effort, and it just comes down to multiple people wanting to make use of the newly released New Super Mario Bros. Wii editor to make a sequel that is more like Super Mario World, with more levels and connecting world maps and whatnot. So, yeah, then I asked him, how long have you been making mods? He said he started with Super Mario World over 15 years ago. I didn't really do much with it, though I suppose New Super Mario Bros. Wii was the first major thing I did, which would be in 2009. And I asked him, what are your plans for future mods? And he said, right now I'm personally working on a rather unusual Ocarina of Time mod using an NPC scripting tool I've made for it. And then I asked him where you get the file for New Super Mario Bros. Or newer Super Mario Bros. Wii. And he said, newerteam.com. Newerteam.com is actually a website that I've checked out. If you want to see it, you can look into the link in the description, or if you're going on to, or if you're on an audio, sorry, or if you're on an audio software like Spotify or Google Podcast, you can just go to newerteam.com. That is newerteam.com. Yes, that was a very influential person in the NSMW modding community, and I thought it was really cool that I got to talk to him for a little bit. But yeah, next up is Asu-chan. Asu-chan? I have no idea how to say that. But this person created New Super Mario Bros. Wii, The Prankster Comments, which was actually a canceled project at the time. Yeah, and it might still be canceled, but it was supposed to incorporate elements from Super Mario Galaxy into New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I think I either played it or I saw somebody else play it. But yeah, so this person actually said a lot. So yeah. I said, first of all, where did you get the idea for this? They said, at first I wanted to make a mod that would not require a lot of level design work, since I'm not so good at it. As a programmer, I ended up thinking about what kind of objects could be added to the game to make it a new experience without being too classic, like the mods that just make the game harder, and I ended up thinking about prankster comments out of really nothing, and tried to imagine how it would look in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and then got to work. Of course, while the main idea came from me, many new ideas were found along the way, with a big part of them being from the community. Also, on a more personal note, I was kind of jealous of people making very basic mods and having them featured on YouTuber channels, so I thought I could make one myself. So then I asked, do you have anyone else working on this with you? And they said, yes, but not on a regular basis. I do the main work on the mod, but I get lots of help from community levels and 3D models. I wouldn't say it's a solo project, but it's really not a team project either. It's a community project. And I said, when did you want this to release? And they said, huge lack of motivation led me to canceling the mod. The target was to have it released during the summer, but I realized that I wouldn't be able to do it, nor was I motivated enough to push the mod again, so I canceled it. I said, is there a demo playable? And yes, this person created a GitHub page, at github.com/asuchan/NSMBW, the prankster comments. And that's the link to what was done for the game in the repro's README file, which contains the essential information about the mod and what can be done with it, so I'd encourage anyone to read it before downloading. So yeah, that just talks about all that stuff. So if we can, for like GC Live, that's what I want to play. I want to play New Super Mario Bros. The Prankster Comments, because that's a game that I really want to get out there, because I'd at least like this person to get motivation to be like, hey, these people actually want this because this is a game that I and many other people have actually wanted to see, like New Super Mario Brothers New Super Mario Brothers Wii and Gaming Galaxy, like smushed together. That's probably my match made in heaven. That would be really cool. But yeah, when I said, what system did you use to make the Prankster comments? They said there's a lot of things that we used to edit levels. We used a tool called Retchie, which has two main versions, Next and Updated. This tool is written in Python, so it can be used by any person who has Python installed on the computer, no matter the operating system. To edit the puzzles, tile sets, or the textures of the level's elements like the ground, we use a tool called Puzzle, also written in Python, to edit the game's 3D models and the corresponding textures. We use a tool called Brawl Crate, which is a Windows only, but I think it can be emulated on other operating systems, to edit the game's code. We use a script called Kamek that executes a whole lot of commands to compile our code and link it to the game's code as a series of binary files that are then injected into the game using a custom-made code loader. Those are the main things, but of course there's a whole lot of other tools to edit things. So yeah, that's what ASU Champ said. All about the Prankster comments. I, of course, would love to see this game be actually resurrected, because that's a game that I really enjoyed, like seeing all this gameplay stuff. I haven't personally played it, but I'd like to eventually.
That'd be cool.
Alright, next up is one of the only mods that I've actually ever played, which is newer Super Mario Brothers DS. This was also a collaboration between Skywell and Roadrunner WMC. So I asked this person 3 questions this time, mainly because it was really long. So yeah, so I asked, how are you involved in New Super Mario Bros. DS? And they said, so the project was initially just something Skywell was making by himself. In 2016, since Skywell was hanging out in the newer Super Mario Bros. U chat at the time, I saw some things that I could help him with. At first, it was just some graphics here and there, but over the next year or two, the entire game had really ballooned into a scope as we realized how far we could take it with 2 people working together. By the end, well, I'm listed in 12 categories in the credits, so I had a hand in a lot of different things. The main title is co-producer, but I'd say specific things I worked on most were the sound effects, UI improvements, tools, and general programming tasks. Then I asked, how long have you been making mods? And then then they said, I started messing around with New Super Mario Bros. Wii custom levels in 2011, so that'd be like 11 years now. But after about a year, I found that I enjoyed making tools and reverse engineering more than making levels. I've been in the modding community, all sorts of projects since then, but newer DS is the only actual game mod I've significantly been involved with. Then the last question I asked him was, what is the project that you really want to do? They said, oh man, there's so many. One that I think is pretty unique is New Super Mario Bros. Wii Updated, a mod for New Super Mario Bros. Wii that only exists to fix bugs in the game. I want to double it as a documentation of known bugs and the root causes, so it includes a detailed explanation of each one. It is still very early in development, but hopefully someday it'll be pretty comprehensive. Another interesting project that's only partially complete is my tool for map scripts called Cobra. It was discovered about a year ago that all the new Super Mario Bros. Games, except for DS, use a very simple scripting system to manage world map events, and the details of the system are mostly unknown. Or still mostly unknown. I have a work-in-progress tool that will make it possible to edit these scripts and change the world map behaves to some extent. I'm not sure how useful that will actually be, but it's a fascinating tool. But it's a fascinating part of the game that there seems to be a lot of interest in it. One more that I'd like to mention is a tool for editing levels with text files, which I've tentatively named Papyrus. That probably sounds pointless at first since graphical editors already exist, but there are certain situations where having this type of interface can be really helpful. For example, you can use it to write your own programs that automatically generate level data without having to write code and read it and write the actual binary level formats. It also gives you much lower level access to raw level data, so you can experiment with undocumented fields or even add new ones in some cases. One primary motivation in New Super Mario Bros. Be updated, since the tool can be used to write patches for level files without having to include copyrighted level files themselves in the repository. Yeah, the repository.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, so Roadrunner WMC was a great person to talk to and especially work with. It was really cool seeing them talk about all the different projects that they worked on, but we have one last person.
Okay.
This is probably the longest out of all of them, so much so that it takes up 2 whole pages of my stuff.
That's a lot.
So yeah, this person right here is Meatball132, who worked on newer Super Mario Bros. Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii Deluxe. I'm assuming it is like a remaster of newer Super Mario Bros. So yeah. So I asked them 3 questions. So I said, how long have you been making mods? And they said, well, I've always been poking around with the internals of the game since I was a kid, just to figure out what makes them tick. I'm weirdly obsessed with the minor technical details about how games are created, so playing around with the assets or making basic memory hacks is enough to entertain me. And I still do sometimes. I'm not sure if those qualify as mods exactly. I mean, they are technically, but they aren't a large-scale project as you probably think when somebody says a mod. The first big project I got involved with was newer Super Mario Bros. Wii Deluxe, a remake of the NSMBW mod. Newer Super Mario Bros. It was 2018. The previous project by the newer team had just been canceled, but some of the team members still wanted to make something, so they decided a small update on newer Wii would be easy enough, which was obviously not the case since it's still in development after all these years. But anyways, I was friends with several of the members on the team and offered to help if they needed anything. So I was brought on very early to do just like intern type work, like converting all textures to the game's format and properly setting up the collision to the tiles and whatnot. And I eventually just started doing more until I ended up as a lead programmer and music director. That I joined the project in March of 2018, so I suppose that's when I would say I started making mods. And I asked, what are your plans for future mods? They said, my big project is newer Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. Those familiar with it and are probably aware that it suffered a lot from the scope creep. Originally, it was a small upgrade with better textures and music, but then we decided to touch up the levels, and then this level isn't very good, so let's replace it. And maybe we should add some levels to completely overhaul major components of the game, write an entirely new 3D world map system, and a whole 3D environment modeled for it. And now this is a huge undertaking, especially for our small busy team. But it's too important for us to toss out, so we're still working on it. Aside from newer Deluxe, we've also been involved with a new Super Mario Bros. 2 mod called Super Mario Bros. Next, which I actually saw an ad for not an ad, but like in the the NSMB franchise direct, like the hacking direct.
Okay.
I don't think there's been a mod in the new Super Mario Bros. Series as big as a scope before, and it seems to be coming along relatively well. It has a uniquely talented team that can make pretty much anything that they think can happen. So I think it'll turn out great. It has some challenging levels though. I've spent a long time just trying to beat some of them myself, and we're working on updating newer DS. I always thought before the music was lackluster. A lot of random MIDI files, a lot of random MIDIs shoved into the game before any actual musicians joined the team. For this update, we've got stream music working basically as WAV files instead of MIDI files now, so it has a lot of potential of sounding better, and we're considering adding some other features too, but I don't want to say too much about it until we know for sure what the plans are. Scabo, one of the lead developers who was working on newer DS and making some stuff for Ocarina of Time. He's a very versatile, wrote a scripting system for NPCs called NPC Maker. Although its capabilities go far beyond just making NPCs. We're still working on a small mod to showcase NPC Maker right now, and the main goal is to make it a big full-length mod. That one is a ways out, but I'm really excited for it. I know that Scott talked about the modding script actually earlier, but yeah, I'm excited to see what he does with that. And the last question I said for everybody is, what is a project that you still really, really want to do? And they said, I'd really love to make something for Super Mario Galaxy. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I would love to work with it. The main issue is skill. Really, it's a fully 3D game, and I don't think I would be able to contribute meaningful unless I was able to make 3D graphics myself. And right now, I'm as good as that as a potato. Plus, I just don't think that I have the patience to get good enough. And honestly, my ambitions go into a different direction anyways. After all these modding projects are completed or finished, I want to start making actual games from scratch. Myself and a couple other people from the modding scene, mostly from the newer team, have started working on a real commercial game that'll start active development whenever we feel we don't have much time left in the modding world to finish. And I think it's a natural step forward. Modding is almost like a gateway into the real world development, and I'm sure Nintendo would love us to do that, to stop messing with their games so we can actually make them tangible sources of money through the eShop, LOL. I think that last statement was kind of irrelevant because the eShop is actually closed down now, officially.
True.
So, then we'll say that. Alright. Now we're entering into our gaming pickups segment of the show. We did this last episode, and yeah, so I enjoyed it. So, because my birthday recently happened, I got a bit of stuff. Just a bit, no. So, in the back, you'll see Sonic the Hedgehog running. So I got a Super Retro Trio 3 Plus, which is like a 3-in-1 system, which has an NES, an SNES, and a Sega Genesis all in one system. But yeah, with that, I bought Star Fox. No, sorry, my dad got me Star Fox. I bought Sonic, and yeah, so then my aunt, who loves Zelda just as much as I do, bought me the Zelda Game & Watch, which is what I'm excited for. But yeah, so I bought that.
That's awesome.
And then I mentioned this in a Gaming Corner Live thing. I got an arcade cabinet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a full Miss Pac-Man arcade cabinet comes with 12 games that I can't really name off the top of my head other than Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Rally X, Dig Dug. But yeah.
Sounds like you can name them off the top of your head.
Not all of them. Well, actually, I could try. Well,
Probably don't.
Well, but yeah, so with that, you said that you wanted to get a specific game, Jonathan. What was that?
Tears of the Kingdom. That's probably
Tears
it.
of the Kingdom. Who could have guessed?
You're like, shocker! Just kidding.
Big reveal.
Maybe Minecraft Legends. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Minecraft Legends. With that, I'm Josiah.
And I'm Jonathan.
And this
is Gaming Corner.
It gets worse every time.